Behavior number 2 that will help guarantee success is do what you say. This is very important. I mean, think about it in your own life. Do you know someone who doesn't do what they say? Someone who says that they'll be there at a certain time and they don't. Someone who says they'll show up and bring you whatever they need to bring you and they don't. Someone who says they'll they just don't do what they say they're going to do. They'll say, hey, I can do you this favor, or hey, I can help you out, and then they don't show up. Do you trust that person? I mean, you may trust that they don't want to hurt you, and you might like them, and they might have a good personality. But when they tell you something that they're going to do, you know it's likely not going to happen. And then think about someone you can really count on. Someone that you know that when they say they're going to do it, they do it. What's interesting about those people is they're not quick to volunteer oftentimes because they know that they're going to do what they say they're going to do no matter what, even if it hurts. And these people, you love to have them in your life because you know you can count on them. If you have something very important, these are the people you turn to. So if there's an opportunity that comes up, opportunity for advancement, an opportunity for an investment, an opportunity that will basically require someone to do what they say they're going to do, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you don't even hear about those opportunities because people don't bring them to you. It's like a social contract that you have with someone. When you say, hey, I'm going to be there at a particular time, or hey, I'll do you this favor. And when you don't do it, it happens to us all. There's times when we can't follow through with what we said we were going to do. But we can follow through with a call or a message or a text and say, hey, listen, I ran into a problem. Unforeseen, but here's when I will do it. Or at least some type of communication. Because typically the people who don't do what they say they're going to do also don't communicate. They don't tell you when that's going to happen. But the people who do what they say they're going to do, those people are notoriously good about following through if they can't do it for some reason, with communicating and letting you know. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find this particular study, but I was watching a video a couple years ago where this company decided that they were going to make it a policy, not a principle, but a policy, like brushing your teeth, something you do no matter what, that everybody in the company had to do what they said they were going to do to the customer, to the coworkers, leadership. Whatever they said they were going to do, they were going to do even when it hurts. And they focused on 3 companies in particular who made this, let's say, policy change. And when they came back in a year later, I believe all of the companies, at least 2 out of 3, had tripled their revenue. I think that if I remember right, there was one that had doubled their revenue and the other 2 had tripled it. Just by one point of success. Do what you say you're going to do. I have to admit, I was horrible at this. I was late oftentimes. I would make promises and I wouldn't carry through with them. In my own words, I was a real piece of shit. And I look back and I hang my head in shame. And I know what it's like to be the person that can't be counted on. I know let's say, how it eats away at my sense of self-esteem. And we're going to get into that a little bit deeper. But in particular, I know that the opportunities that were offered to me were far fewer than when I started to make it a policy, a behavior change of doing what I was going to do no matter what, even if it hurt. It's been about 10 years that I've made this a policy, a little longer. And the opportunities that I see and the trust that I create with the friends that I have, it's night and day. In fact, I often say that a lot of people that knew me 25 years ago wouldn't know the me today, and the people that know me today wouldn't know the me 25 years ago. But there's a bigger reason for that, not just in being dependable and carrying through with what I say I'm going to do, even when it hurts. The other side of this is, for lack of a better way of calling it, I call it the self-esteem gap. And when we have a small gap between what we do and what we say, in other words, with what we say lines up with what we do, there is no self-esteem gap. And the more often that we don't do what we say we're going to do, that gap increases and it affects our self-esteem. The wider the gap between what you say and what you do, the less self-esteem you have. The more feelings of inadequacy that you have internally, because you know you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And you know when you see that person that you've let them down. And so there's this sort of negative feedback loop or positive feedback loop if you do what you say you're going to do and there is no gap, or let's say a small one, because sometimes, it's going to happen to us all. Sometimes we can't do what we said we're going to do, but we can communicate. And when we find that we do what we say we're going to do, that gap is non-existent and our self-esteem is strong. And any feelings of inadequacy that we may have, we all have them. We all suffer from the imposter complex. We don't need to contribute to it. If you don't know, the imposter complex is the idea that, you might get promoted to a job, and it's a job you've never done before. And there's a part of you that's afraid that you're going to be called out for not knowing how to do it, that you're just an imposter in that job. And so, we're talking about success, and success is about advancement. Success is about promotion. Success is about going to that next level. So every time you go to that next level, of course, there's going to be some imposter complex that goes on. But you don't need to make it worse by contributing to it, by not doing what you say you're going to do. So there's two sides to this concept that contribute to success. The one is the social contract that you have with other people. They can trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So they lean on you, they give you more opportunities, you get involved in more things, you get included, you're more aware, you're part of the community. As well as there's this other side that's a feedback loop for the way that we feel about ourselves, for the way that we have our own internal dialogue and our own internal feeling about how we work through the world. When you do what you say you're going to do, like brushing your teeth, you do it all the time, no matter what, then you'll find that success is easier to come by than if you don't. Remember, we're all stuck in the matrix. It's your job to find your way out. I hope what we share helps.